Hi guys, here's one for the ISO slash COVID playlist that I haven't updated for a while because not much has really happened. ISO ended for Melbourne, I think last October. I can't remember. I don't remember the date, but I do remember when it ended. I was sitting at my computer listening to the radio and it ticked over to midnight and I could hear all these people celebrating in the city and everything. And I just sat and cried because I loved ISO so much, so much. And I knew, it was the end of, I guess, like my holiday from the world for me. But, that's just me. I really did like ISO. I know that, I was in the minority. So it was good for the rest of the world. So I thought it's, what is it now, 10th of April 2022. I thought I would update to let everyone know that I have been in a week's isolation since it started last Thursday. It's Sunday today because my son got COVID. We think he probably got it. He went out with his mates on the weekend because that's life's getting back to normal now. So he got COVID. He was sick. Like a normal sort of a virus, like he had a fever and bit of a cough and whatever, and he is asthmatic. I think the worst of it was the fever for him, but he was really only sick for one day, like really sick, and he's come good now. It's Sunday now. He tested positive on the Thursday. That was day 3 of symptoms for him, and he's been back to normal since yesterday, Friday, I guess. So that put me into ISO for a week, and I've also got my daughter staying here because for 3 days when my son was in his infectious period before we knew he had COVID, my daughter was here. She's moved out, but she comes to visit here quite a lot, and she'd been here on like 3 consecutive days. So she came here to isolate because the place where she's living at the moment, there's 5 people living there, and one of them is a nurse, and we just felt it was the right thing for her to come and isolate here rather than, with us, my son's already got COVID, I probably already had it, rather than her infecting another 4 people, and as I said, one of them's a nurse. So yeah, we've dragged the mattress out from underneath my bed and she's been sleeping on that on the floor in the office. So we've both been testing each day because we were pretty sure we're both going to get COVID, and you've got to isolate for a week from your positive test. So in order to get out of isolation as early as possible, we've been testing every day. Now I don't care if I'm in isolation for the next 6 months. That doesn't bother me, but it's better for me if I am positive to test as early as possible, because as soon as I test, then my daughter is a close contact of me and she's got to isolate for another week. So I tested positive today, and it doesn't really surprise me. I started feeling a bit, I'm not asthmatic, but I've had asthma symptoms for a few weeks now and been using Ventolin a couple of times a day. And that has happened to me a couple of times throughout my life, but I'm not asthmatic. But I started to need the Ventolin a lot more probably yesterday and a little bit the day before. I had a pretty rough night. I did a test yesterday and it was negative. I had a pretty rough night last night, just with having a lot of trouble sleeping because I was like coughing so much. Couldn't go more than a minute or 2 without coughing, and it's just a very dry, very typical sort of an asthma type cough. It's non-productive, although my chest does feel like, when you get a bad chest infection and before your chest actually breaks up, you've just got that feeling in your chest. I'm feeling that when I'm coughing, and I feel like something's going to break up in my chest eventually. But for the moment, it's just a very dry, annoying cough. So that kept me awake last night until, probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I ended up sleeping like half sitting up, so I woke up with a bad headache just from how I was sleeping, because the headache's gone now. I haven't had a fever or muscle aches or anything like that. The test I did, I didn't bring it in here. When my son did the test on Thursday, the line came up like instantly, and it was really, really dark. Mine today took 15 minutes to come up, and it was well, I don't know, maybe it took a bit like less than that, but I didn't look at it for 15 minutes. And it was quite faint, but even a faint line is a positive result. So I'm now in ISO for a week from today. My daughter's 7-day ISO restarts again today. She did a test, she was negative, but she's got the glassy eyes, and quite often, you know, you get that sort of glassy eye look just before you get sick, or we all do anyway. So we're expecting her to eventually test positive. I've called, or not called, I made an online appointment to talk to my GP tomorrow just to get some more Ventolin, because I don't want to run out. I'm using it like at least every 2 hours, and sometimes more often, which is it's safe to use it. You can have, you know, 4 puffs of Ventolin every 4 minutes if you need it, if you're like in crisis, but which I'm not. But having that much Ventolin it's just too much. So I want to talk to my GP. Number one, get some more Ventolin, which I can do. I'm sure they can send. Sorry, I'm sure they can send a script through to my pharmacy that I go to, and I know my pharmacy delivers. They've delivered here before when something was out of stock. They delivered it for me. So I might also see if I can get like some kind of asthma preventer, like Symbicort or Pulmicort. Probably I'd prefer Symbicort, just for a few weeks, because then it'll cut down how much Ventolin I actually need to use. And the Ventolin, I don't like how it makes me feel. It makes me feel very, very jittery, and you know, I need to rest right now because I'm out of breath a lot of the time. I can't go and do anything heavy. Like I had groceries delivered yesterday, and just going out to my front porch and bringing in, I don't know, 10 bags of shopping or however much it was, I thought I was going to actually pass out because I got so lightheaded. So, and that's just, you know, that's just a lung function thing with the COVID. As long as I'm, you know, not really doing anything and I take the Ventolin, I'm fine. As you can tell now, I don't sound breathless or anything because I had Ventolin not long ago. Or I do have Ventolin, but I don't have, you know, you see the blue puffers that everyone's got where you've got to time it. You put it in your mouth and you push the thing down and you inhale. These ones, it's called Eremir. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Eremir. They're, I really like these, and my son uses these as well. He's asthmatic. And I won't waste it because I can't get any more till tomorrow. But that's what it looks like. And this little lever here, you pull it up and it comes up vertical, and then you put your mouth around the mouthpiece and you inhale, and that activates it. So you're not sort of like having to time the dose. These, I don't know why they don't just use these all the time, particularly for elderly people and young kids rather than spacers. I think they're absolutely genius. And another thing that's been helping me is these, and I'm not getting kickbacks or anything, no one knows, I don't get paid for this. I just got some soothers, eucalyptus and menthol lozenges to clear the nose. I don't have a runny nose from COVID. I always have a runny nose, but it helps with my throat and helps with my breathing a bit. Because my throat feels very tight. It's not sore, but it's very tight, and I feel like my trouble breathing isn't so much coming from my lungs, but from my throat. And that might not be the case, but that's how it feels. So this week I'm just going to be resting, like seriously resting, crocheting up a storm, which with all the Ventolin, that's another reason I want to get like something like Symbicort, which is a preventer. With all the Symbicort, it makes me really jittery. I'm just, you know, like, I don't like how it makes me feel, but I don't like how asthma feels. My son has lived with asthma since he was like 18 months old, and I don't know how he does it. It makes me feel panicky. it really makes me feel panicky. So that's me. That's me now. I thought I'd give that update. I'm not. It doesn't bother me that I've got COVID because I don't even know if they're still calling it a pandemic. It's not a pandemic anymore. It's endemic. It's part of you know the germ pool now. It's always going to be here. We won't be able to eradicate it at this point in time. You know, so you know I knew at some point I was going to get COVID, vaccinated or not vaccinated. I was going to get COVID. Everyone's going to get COVID, and I'm triple vaxxed. I had my last one, my third one, early Feb. So I'm just a little over 2 months post my last vaccination, and they say that even the boosters only provide like really good immunity for about 3 months. So to be completely honest, I have been saying that I wanted to get COVID because I'm going to get it anyway. I wanted to get it over and done with whilst my last Pfizer was still like really, really kicking in my body, so that I would have a less severe illness. And you know, I've only tested positive today, but it's looking like it's not going to be too bad for me. And also because I don't know if I will get a fourth booster. I haven't decided. So you know, like vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, don't fucking jump on me. I haven't decided, and that is because with each consecutive Pfizer I've had, my joint pain has just gotten worse and worse and worse. I've had days where I've barely been able to walk because my knees have been so bad, and my ankles hurt, and my feet hurt, and my elbows and my wrists, my fingers hurt some days, and you know my shoulder's been bad. And these are all, well, not my fingers, but these are all like pre-existing joint problems that I've had. You know, like I've got bad knees. I've got a full thickness tear in my shoulder. What hasn't actually gotten a lot worse, it has gotten a little bit worse, but not a lot worse, is my back. I've got five bulging discs in my back, and that hasn't. It's only gotten a little bit worse. But that could also be because I've been really, really tired. Just some stuff going on in my personal life that's flared up my fibromyalgia, which makes me so tired, and just so anyway, so I haven't been able to get to the gym as much as I would like. I've only been hitting the gym maybe twice a week, so that could, you know, be impacting why my back has gotten a little bit worse. And my fitness has really taken a hit because my knees have been so bad, and I haven't had enough energy to do the gym properly. So I've been only doing a very little bit of cardio, just enough cardio to warm up, and been concentrating on building strength around my knees to combat that pain that I've been in. So that's where I'm at the moment. That's my continuing ISO story. If things change for me over the next couple of days with my course of COVID, I'll let you know. But I don't know. I might get a little bit worse, but I don't know. I'll find out, I guess. I'll just keep taking Ventolin and having soothers, and see if I can get some Symbicort into me, and just eat some good food, and I'll get to hang around the house for another week and not go anywhere, and just not wear a bra and just wear my soft PJs. So it sounds like a good time to me. I may change my mind if I get really sick with COVID. That might be a very different story. So that's it. I'm going to go now and eat a bowl of porridge with a whole punnet of raspberries in it and crochet.